Hey guys, hopefully you really enjoyed that last segment where we focused on taking off, hovering, and flying line of sight. If you're new to this, you probably want to spend some extra time in that segment, and you might even want to go back and redo it a few times, maybe spend a few days on it before you come to this second segment. But today we're going to be focusing on some new stuff. What are we doing today, Christian?
Yes, Rob. Today we're going to be focusing on precision landings, safety protocols,
Okay.
and then flying a straight line, and then turning around a point.
Okay.
What's going to make this a lot more fun for you is we're going to do it with the goggles on.
Awesome. I can't wait to do that.
You're ready for this.
I'm ready. Let's do it. All right, so now we're going to be covering some safety protocols. So Christian, where do we start with that?
Well, the first thing when you're flying the drone is to find a place to safely fly it. Best would be to find a park without any power lines around it or any cell towers, because it will affect like the range and how your control responds.
Okay. And what about the actual obstacle of the cell tower and the power lines? Are those something that people crash into a lot?
Yes, you should really be careful because some of the lines hang low and they might be a little too hard to see when you're flying FPV because they're really like small strands. And there have been some times when people will just like hit them and then crash and stuff. So. Okay. Also, Rob, once you find that perfect park, no towers, no cell phone interruptions on your remote, it's also good to always check wind conditions. If it's blowing towards you or from behind you or from side to side, it will affect the drone's flying characteristics. See, if you're trying to like turn left and the wind is pushing on it, you'll have a more wider turn once you start making that turn. So
yeah, I definitely noticed that in the first segment when I was flying, because you know, I think because of video games, I kind of assumed that the drone would just stay right in place where I leave it, and the wind is like almost like this feeling you can start to feel where it kind of pushes against you a little bit, and when you cut into the wind, it definitely gives a little resistance, and when you go with the wind, it kind of picks up speed.
It's much more pronounced when you're trying to roll or bank. When the wind is coming towards it, you feel like you have to push the stick a lot more to get where you want to go.
Right, and I'm guessing that could probably send you into a tree or a power line, right? Yeah.
So one more that we want to focus on is to avoid flying behind yourself. Okay. Why? It's because it's easier if you fly towards you and use that space in front of you. It'll be a much more easier way to turn and get a point of direction. Yeah. So if you make a left turn, you're coming up on where you started from. Right. So it's easier to see where you're going. Let's call it home point. And if you fly behind you, it's easy to lose orientation, and basically what you're looking at without the goggles is completely different from what you see when you're flying towards behind you. So. Right.
Yeah, I felt like it was really easy when I was flying in front of me and the drone was facing away from me. So I kind of could imagine myself being in the cockpit of the actual drone. And once it turned around and faced towards me, I got a little disoriented. And then there was a moment when I went behind myself and I got really disoriented. So
it's very common for people to kind of miss where they took off from when they're flying towards them, and they end up behind themselves, and most of the time have a difficulty finding where they are again. So if you're flying in front of you, you have that point of reference from your takeoff point. So it's going to be a lot more easier for beginner pilots.
Yeah. So that's more of an advanced move, right? I could do that later, right?
Yeah.
Once I practice a little bit.
Yeah. Once you get your skills honed in and you got all the sticks dialed in, and it's going to be good.
How long does it usually take before I can actually get myself, like how do I know when I'm ready to start flying behind myself or turned around facing towards me?
It really depends on the area, because some parks you're going to want to stay by the tree line and then use the space in front of you to utilize it as your flying field. Right. But you know, if you fly behind you and there are tall trees, then you might sacrifice some of your reception. Right, right. You might lose signal.
So do you think after a few days I should do it, or should I wait maybe a few weeks or months?
I would say a couple of weeks. Okay. Like more practice. Like you say, practice makes perfect. Yeah, so as long as you get your stick time, you're gonna be good. Cool. Okay, Rob, in this portion, we want to make sure that you're ready to go fly. And on your remote, you want to make sure all the toggle switches are pushed forward away from you. Okay, got it. Before you start. Great. Yep. And then once you start flying, there's actually no need to toggle any of the switches while you're flying, especially the arm switch. Okay. This one you only need to do that once when you're taking off. You don't want to touch that while you're flying, because if at any point you touch it, you're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna have a real good crash.
What's gonna happen?
It actually starts and stops the motors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like the ignition on your car.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm ready.
All right, let's go fly. Okay, Rob, on the last segment, we kept the drone low and close.
Right.
But now we're gonna take it a step farther than that one. We're gonna focus on taking off and landing.
Okay.
We want to make sure we focus on this set of skills, because I mean, you can take the drone up easy, but it's getting it down without crashing will allow you for your next flight.
Okay.
So always, we're gonna focus on this. We're gonna get you good at it.
Okay.
It's always a good practice to have a good landing skills before you do like any long range flights, or before any acro flights, or just zipping around trees.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get started on that. Okay, Rob, are you ready for your FPV experience?
I'm ready.
Okay. From the last segments, we talked about getting your equipment set up. So we have the goggle cable plugged in, and we have it plugged into the remote.
Okay.
Make sure all the switches are flipped upwards away from you.
Okay.
Okay, and then the throttle stick all the way down.
All right, done.
All right, let's hit the arm switch and let's get ready to fly.
Okay.
Okay, with our previous segments, you already know how to hover it and keep it line of sight.
Right.
So let's bring it up from the landing pad. Okay, with the conditions right now, you're gonna have to be pushing forward and left to counter the wind. Once it gets about that high, give it a little elevation and hold the direction towards where the wind is to get it to a hover.
Okay.
And then from there on, you can just pull your goggles down and start flying FPV.
Okay, got
You
it.
want to make sure it's always safe when you do this. How's that camera angle for you?
Pretty
It's good?
Yep.
You can see the ground and the diamond?
Yep.
Okay, we've set up a diamond there, so you could circle around it, get a feel for it, and then try landing on the center of it.
Got it.
I mean, at this point, you're mainly controlling the throttle, the forward motion.
Oh.
There you go. Okay, you landed it. Disarm the motors.
All right. There we go. You did a great job.
Let's try it again.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. And you know the steps already.
Yep.
I'm gonna let you get the feel for the quad, so you know what it's doing.
Yep.
And I'm gonna let you do the takeoff, goggle down, and then flight towards the landing spot.
Got it. So I'm gonna hit the arm switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Taking off.
Same process as before. Unfortunately, we still have the same amount of wind, but just try and keep your elevation down. Manage the throttle stick a lot more probably smoothly. There you go, you're almost there.
All right.
Close. Let's disarm the motors. Man, you're getting a lot better at this than when you first started, so yeah.
Got it right on the edge.
Yeah. That was a good job, Rob.
Thanks.
The second one was a lot closer than the first.
Yeah.
And let's actually try for one more.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to the next step. Uh,
Sounds good.
Okay. I'll leave this up to you.
Okay.
Everything from arming the motors, taking off, putting the goggles, and landing. Doing a great job, by the way. I love how you're actually trying to keep in line with the track all the way to the landing section. And you're managing throttle. That's pretty good.
Did I get it?
That's pretty good. You got it. Let's disarm the motors.
Okay.
And that was impressive.
Nice.
That was impressive. I think you're ready for the next step.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, Rob, so you did really good at the takeoff and landings. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to combine the last two aspects, which is following like a straight path and then turning around a point.
Okay.
That's that's where we use this stick. Like when you bank right, you add a little yaw left to it to make the quad point in the direction you want it to go.
Got it.
So that will make your turns a lot more coordinated and a lot more tighter.
Okay. Great.
So we'll start with heading out here. Just keep it in line with the markers.
Okay.
And then towards the end, we're gonna make a circle, a left-hand circle, and go around the whole perimeter about 3 times. And then we'll aim for a landing on the diamond like we did earlier.
Got it.
All right, let's get it started. Let's keep the elevation low and just manage the sticks. Like now when you make a left turn, you want to also incorporate the left stick, left input, and it allows for a much more tighter turn.
Jesus, this is dangerous.
Yeah. It can get pretty messy with a lot more violent wind, but I think right now we're doing great. Feel free to explore more of the field towards that side, and just aim back towards us. Use the 2 sticks to turn left, and then give it a more forward motion right there.
All right.
There you go. Now in that direction, try to go to the, once you make the turn, try and head for the right side of the second set of markers. So make a left turn, and then you're gonna see 2 sets of marker lines on the ground, and just keep it as close to the center of those markers. That's good, that's good. Now throttle up a little bit, and let's follow this set of markers here. You're doing great. You're doing real great. Okay, let's do that turn again and follow the other side. Follow through the other side of the markers. This wind will really not help us at all right now. So once you're lined up, okay. All right. Now let's do one more turn and aim for a landing on the diamond area, like you did earlier.
Got it.
I'm really surprised at how good you've performed from the first time we started training you on this quad. It's for beginners. It's a real easy process as long as you follow the rules and regulations. Don't fly farther than what you can, basically what you can see or what you can handle. And there we go, you're almost there. Nailed it. Good job, man.
Yeah,
that was awesome. That was awesome. You're right in there in the middle of the diamond again. So
that was pretty intense, but
yeah.
it was fun.
But it was fun trying to get the circle, trying to get a feel of basically what the wind is doing to your quad.
Yeah, I felt a lot of difference when the wind would change each turn. I mean,
yeah.
One time I would go around in a circle and it would be one way, and then I'd come back around and it would act differently just because of the wind.
You basically where the wind is blowing, you feel like you're getting more of a wider turn once it pushes you outwards.
Yeah, it's really fun. It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, yeah. This is not something like a DJI product where you could just leave it there with the sticks, then it'll just hover. You always have to be on your toes when you're flying these things.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah. But how do you feel about this quad now?
Oh, it's awesome. I like how fast it is and how much it cuts into the wind. I kind of feel like I prefer to have that athletic feel to go through it. I just need to, obviously get better.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm really proud of how you've improved from the first time we let you let your hands on the controllers, and it's only going to get easier as you keep flying.
Yep, I've seen you fly. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Christian.
No problem. Okay, Rob, so what are your final thoughts about the product?
I definitely think learning the basics is super important, and it was really helpful, improved my confidence to just get out there and fly. And the cool thing is that no matter how much you practice, it'll still keep you on your toes.
That's true. I mean, it's not the most docile drone out there. You can really push it to its limits. It can fly upside down, sideways, backwards. Yeah. And the more you fly it, it's just the better you get every time.
can't wait to do it.
All right, so I'm glad you've been through this journey with us to test out and train with the new Phoenix HD drone. And Rob, by the way, good job on flying.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see where you'll take this or what your next adventure will be with it. Aside from that, I can't wait for the next training session that we're going to have with this with you.
Yep, can't wait. Thanks, Christian.
You're welcome.